Yo, welcome to Spectator Sporting. I'm Zach Roach along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wally. We got a big show for y'all today. We talking boxing. You know we got my main man Byron here. We got Harv War Bangers coming in to fill us in, school us. Before we get into this, make sure y'all go on Spectator Sporting YouTube page, subscribe, like, comment. On TikTok, keep those comments coming. And if you in your car, go ahead and put on that Spotify and ride to it. We got another big time super bantam fight. The Monster Inoue with a record of 30-0, 27 knockouts. The Monster, the IBF World Super Bantam, WBC World Champion, WBO, will fight against none other than say that for me.
MJ Akhmadaliev.
Oh, thank you. But anyway, the Monster got knocked down in his last fight in the second round, but responded with an 8th round TKO. MJ, 30 years old with a record of 14-1. Last fight defeated Luis Castillo with a 8th round knockout. Now he would face the Monster, which will be maybe his toughest opponent ever. Byron, talk to me about this fight. It's
a good fight. On paper, it's a great fight. In a way, I guess kind of looked a little bit human in his last fight where he got knocked down, but he still just got up dominant. You see why this guy is in the pound-for-pound conversation. You see why a lot of casual fans like Inoue highlights. Very aggressive, fights great off the front foot. Very solid 1-2, very decent jab, and just has a killer instinct when it comes to, dishing punishment and kind of putting himself in a position to where he gets punishment. I mean, it kind of looks like a calculated brawl every time he fights. But as far as his opponent, MJ Akhmadaliev, this guy would be undefeated if it wasn't for a split decision loss where he kind of started the fight against Tapales where he was very tentative in the beginning, lost some rounds maybe he shouldn't have lost. But, I mean, as far as styles making fights, you got the Inoue, who is very aggressive on the front foot, MJ, who is very comfortable fighting on the back foot. Although he can press the fight, has a decent jab, a lot of power. It's one of those fights where you don't really see this fight going 12 rounds. Somebody's going to get caught. Somebody's going to get stopped. But as far as, Inoue, when you look at Inoue, they have him, I think the Ring Magazine has him number 2 right now.
Pound for pound?
Yeah, he's like number 2 behind Usyk. And, you look at his body of work and, with Terrence Crawford and the leaps he's making to go after Canelo, I don't see how Inoue is number 2. And literally looking at this opponent, a lot of casual fans just don't see his fights. He primarily fights in Japan, which means if you're not up, Sunday morning, 6, 7 in the morning, you're not going to see Inoue fight. Would love to see him fight one of these big fights in Vegas on a big stage. Let the American fans get a view of how impressive and entertaining he is, because it's a very entertaining fight. Think better boxer than Gervonta Davis. Same knockout power, but a way better boxer. But he doesn't want to fight Tank Davis, which I don't have a lot of interest in him because you don't want to push yourself and fight Tank Davis. But on paper, looks like a great fight.
Definitely levity. Harv, what's your thoughts about him going into this fight against MJ? Last fight, 8th round TKO, but did suffer a knockdown, knockdown, but came back and responded well. What's your thoughts going into this fight for him?
Okay, so first thing first, I got to address a couple of things, right? So, Inoue just fought May 4th in the T-Mobile Arena. So he did just fight.
I didn't say he didn't fight in the U.S. I said primarily he fights in Japan.
Which is correct.
Yeah.
But he's just now breaking not arguing, I'm just saying like he is coming to the American market. Okay.
So but he's not fighting this fight.
He's not fighting this fight. But he just got his feet wet and coming to the American market, and that was this year. So I foresee him actually trying to come over here and give the American people what they want, which is more eyes on him. However, this is going to be a hard fight for him.
Okay.
All right. And I think he knows it's a hard fight for him. He knows that he has things that he has to fix. In a way, he has these things where he'll throw punches and he'll leave himself vulnerable for these counter shots, and he does it way too much and way too often to be fighting at the level that he's fighting at. Okay. And so I know that that's one thing that they need to fix while they're in the camp. But the other thing is that like a lot of the punches that he throws, it almost makes you scratch your head and be like, why would you throw a punch like that? You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm the only person that sees it.
A lot of hooks to the body.
And at the wrong, like, weird
And it
angles,
seems like his straight punches, that's where his power is. It's 1-2. He has a very powerful 1-2. Yeah. But he chooses to come in at the weird angle. But I think that's what makes him, on the offensive side, he's a tough task to basically make a game plan for, because he does come very unconventional at times. He'll come with hooks where you think he could come with a straight.
And I think, I agree with you. That might be his bread and butter by catching people off guard. But eventually it's
he's gonna fight a smarter fighter that's gonna.
And is MJ the one?
MJ?
Hey man, is MJ the one? You know, that name is special. You know what I mean? I tell you that much. But I think he needs to. I think he needs to get his shit together, for a lack of better words. Like I think he's been kind of lucky to make it to where he's at so far. Don't get me wrong, he got caught that last fight, and he went down. Had that punch been a little bit harder, who's to say how fast he would have got up? Mm-hmm. So there's definitely stuff that he has to fix. But I think he's gonna pull it off.
Okay. Early. Adi. You Inoue 30-0, 27 knockouts last fight, 8th round TKO. What's your thoughts on him going against MJ?
Yeah, MJ, good opponent. After Terrence Crawford, the Japanese monster became only the second man to become an undisputed champion in 2 separate weight classes. Okay, he accomplished that feat after he beat the only man to defeat Murodjon Akhmadaliev, the nightmare from the Philippines, Marlon Tapales. Okay, he did this in December of 2023 as Inoue knocked him down with a left hook and some combinations in the 4th round. Then he finished off Tapales in the 10th round with that 1-2 that Byron was talking about. That vicious 1-2 combination got Tapales out of there, okay? Then Murodjon Akhmadaliev became the Japanese monster's mandatory challenger. Then the duck, goose games began.
There's always some ducking going on. There's always some ducking going on.
I was going to say it, but I was like,
he identifies the ducks, man. He does.
Man,
there's always some ducking going on.
Yeah, I don't like the ducking. You the best, fight the best, all right?
Facts.
And so, in a way, he ducked MJ to fight the Mexican southpaw Luis Nery, okay? And in a way suffered a 1st-round knockdown in that fight. He caught a left hook, a counter left hook from Luis Nery. He countered him with that left hook, knocked him down, but in a way did bounce back and got the 6th-round victory in that fight.
Yeah.
But then, in a way, he ducked MJ again and fought TJ Pass the Henny, Do Henny, okay?
What's his name? Say his name again?
TJ Pass the Henny, Do Henny. All right? And he gave him a 7th-round knockdown. He knocked him out in the 7th round. He got that victory, easy win for Inoue, okay? And then Akhmadaliev, he got fed up after the triple duck when Inoue, he decided to fight another guy, a South Korean, Ye-Jun Kim, for a piece of cake 4th round knockout victory. And so, MJ was really pissed off. He was calling him out on the internet, social media, saying, hey, man, stop ducking me and things like that. And MJ Akhmadaliev's promoter, Eddie Hearn, was pushing the sanctioning body, the WBA sanctioning body, to strip Naoya Inoue for all this ducking activity, okay? And MJ Akhmadaliev, he said that Inoue has kept him frozen out for nearly 2 years, and he's the strongest fighter that he will ever face. But finally, after Inoue's 8th-round knockout victory over Ramon Cardenas and MJ's 8th-round knockout victory over Luis Castillo, finally, 2 years later, they're going to fight.
Well, better late than never. That's all we can say. Inoue, MJ finally got what he was looking for. Hard. So we talked about Inoue perspective. MJ, how does he win this fight against the monster?
Defense. All right. if it's one thing everyone knows is that this guy's going to throw some shots from some weird angles, and if you're paying attention, you could catch a counter and possibly get a knockdown. But if you swing hard enough and catch him at the right time, you can knock him out.
Put him to sleep?
You can put him to sleep. It hasn't happened yet. But if you pay attention at each time he's been knocked down, man, he's been seriously hurt. He's had to get up and...
He recovers well.
He recovers, but it's, he's hurt. That's the,
right.
He's taking punishment and he feels it. Now, some guys could take a shot on the chin and walk right through it.
Yeah.
That is not the case.
Okay.
All right. So, use the jab. Don't force the action. Pick your shots carefully and don't load up. That would be the best thing I could say for Mr. MJ.
Yeah.
Okay. Byron, same question to you. How does MJ prepare for this fight against the Monster?
I think the problem that I have with MJ is that he can be very tentative at the beginning of a fight. And in a way, will definitely not leave you any space. You don't have a lot of film that you can look at on MJ, but I did look at the Tapales fight. And he was susceptible to that uppercut coming in, a lead uppercut. And he was on the end of that jab a lot. Like, he wasn't moving. Like, he wasn't dealing with that jab well. And Inoue has a way better jab than Tapales. So I think while some people will look at MJ's power and, think that'll bridge the gap, they kind of forget that Inoue has the same, if not a little bit more pop on his punches, as far as the power. So he's going to have to manufacture some type of offense. What's going to work in his, toward him getting a win, a possible victory, is the fact that Inoue is so aggressive. And he does fight off the back foot very well. So if Inoue presses him in a fight, he's cool with sitting back countering. But again, Inoue's offense is not about volume. It's about hurting you. And so if his jab is landing, then he's setting up shots behind that jab. His jab isn't just one of those, game in range. He's jabbing you to set up other shots, be it a hook to the body, be it a hook to the face, be it a straight. And so it's a wealth of information that you have to take in when you're fighting Inoue. And MJ just didn't look like a world beater against Tapales. He looked very strong closing that fight out. But, even though some people kind of had it as a disputed decision, it was a split decision with two judges having it 115, 113, and one judge, I don't know what the hell he saw. So he had it 118. He had it 118, 110 for MJ. But I looked at that fight, and while I was on the hype train, I was like, wait a minute. A calculated boxer can make you look different. And you don't look at Inoue fights as fights that are going to go 12 rounds. It's going to be that much offense. So he cannot fight this fight tentative. He has to come out, establish some type of jab, and keep Inoue off of him. But, while he will be comfortable fighting on the back foot, he has to understand you cannot let this guy get that much offense because he kind of goes downhill with it. If he starts landing, you're going to get clipped with something heavy. So he's gonna have to fight the first 6 rounds like this is a 6-round fight. He got to come out there, put his power, make his power, be it to the body or counter shots. He got to land something, keep him off of him, keep him respectful, and then go after the win in that manner.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you make a good point. In a way, when he's been down in the early rounds. Yeah. No doubt about it. MJ, Adi, 14-1. He last fight won with an 8-round knockout. How does he approach this fight against the Monster?
Yeah, the former unified 122-pound champion in Southpaw from Uzbekistan, MJ Akhmadaliev, is fortunate he got this second chance to fight Naoya Inoue. Because in April 2023, he blew an opportunity by losing his WBA and IBF belts to Marlon Tapales on a split decision loss, okay? MJ, like Byron said, he finished that fight very strong with effective aggressiveness, okay, but he got off to a very slow start, and he didn't start getting busy until the 6th round. Yeah. Now, I scored the fight a draw. I thought it was 114, but 2 out of 3 judges, they gave Tapales a slight 115, 113 edge. It was a close fight. You got to give Tapales credit. He's a good fighter. He's a very good fighter. And he's very different from Naoya. Tapales is not as active and busy as Naoya. And he's a southpaw. Naoya is an orthodox. So it's two different fighters, and hopefully MJ learned a lot from that loss. It really lit a fire on his ass. After that loss, he'd been talking a lot of shit on social media, really trying to get this fight with Naoya, and he's really upset he blew the chance, but he got a second chance. Yeah. And so MJ has been having a tendency to get off to slow starts lately, just like in this last fight versus the elusive Mexican Luis Castillo. Castillo was doing lots of footwork with upper body movement, but MJ finally slowed him down with some body shots. In the fourth round, he did him with a left hook to the body, which knocked him down, but the ref did not rule it a knockdown. But in the fifth round, another left hook to the body knocked Castillo down. This time it was ruled a knockdown. Sixth round, MJ went upstairs with the left hook and knocked Luis Castillo down. And in the eighth round, lots of blood. Castillo taking a lot of left hands, power shots. Referee stopped the fight, and he got the win, okay? And so Naoya Inoue has been having trouble with counter left hooks, okay? And that's what that's what he do. He likes to do that. And so Luis Nery knocked down Inoue with the counter left hook, and in the last fight, in Naoya Inoue's last fight versus Ramon Cardenas in the second round, Naoya Inoue going in with his left hand, right hand down, guard is down, he's not being defensively responsible, and then the counter left hook from Cardenas knocked down in the second round, and so, but, of course, he ended up losing it, but he's been susceptible to them counter left hooks.
Yep.
Definitely. Can't wait for this fight, Adi. So let's go ahead and get into it right now, Adi. Who wins this fight? What round? Knockout? And how much you betting Adi in hard?
right. Well, I don't know how much money. Let's see here. Well, the thing is, we've seen, like I said, we've seen Luis Nery and Ramon Cardenas knock down Naoya Inoue, and I've seen the Filipino flash. Nonito Donaire hurts Naoya Inoue, okay? But Naoya Inoue stays busy in that ring, and he's much busier than MJ in the ring, okay? And Naoya Inoue could easily throw over 70 punches per round, okay? But MJ Akhmadaliev, he does have a 1-inch reach advantage over Naoya Inoue, but there was another man where Naoya Inoue snatched the WBC and WBO belts away from a man with a 3-inch reach advantage over him, Stephen Fulton, okay? He knocked him out in the 8th round. He was setting him up with that jab the whole fight, stab jabs to the body. He came up top with the right hand and knocked him out in the 8th round, okay? And so, but MJ said there are no monsters in boxing. No Mexican monsters, no Japanese monsters, no monsters, okay? But here's the thing. The guys who knocked down Naoya Inoue, they ended up getting knocked out. MJ knocked Naoya down, don't get knocked out, okay? Just because you knocked them out, don't mean you start going crazy and getting it wrong with
knockdown.
Right. So I want MJ to get this knockdown and then fight smart, get that 10-8 rounds, fight smart, and win. I'm picking MJ to win and get a knockdown. He's going to win the fight by unanimous decision.
Ooh, MJ?
I got MJ winning this fight.
I love it. So going for the upset. I see you. Burn. You heard what Adi said. He got the upset. He got MJ winning. You agree?
No. I think it's very easy to pick MJ in this fight. When you have the aura that Naoya Inoue has, people just bet on you to lose, and the fact of the matter that this guy did in fact duck MJ for 2 years, kind of leads people to, get on that train. And you might not be wrong, but you have to look at MJ's body of work compared to Inoue. And that's where, at first, before I looked at the film, I'm like, yeah, I think I'll take MJ for that upset. But then when you look at what Inoue does, while he does leave himself open to shots, his offense is just too much for everyone that he faces. And it is not a volume, it's not a Zapata offense where he's just throwing these shots. He's setting you up. His jab sets up everything that he does, but he does a wealth of things on offense. So while I think MJ will be a very good opponent for 4 to 5 rounds, I think he gets knocked out in the 7th by Inoue. And it's not because of the power. I think that the best jab wins. And Naoya has the best jab in this fight. And those right hooks and those left to the body, I think he will catch him with shots and kind of force his action. And once he forces the action where he picks up the pace, I think that's where Inoue stops and finishes guys. And so I got Inoue with a knockout in the 7th.
I love it. So you got Inoue with 7th round knockout. Adi got MJ with the unanimous decision. So Harv is going to break the tie here?
Man, I agree with Byron. I'm not going to say the 7th round, probably the 6th. I think it's going to be a short night, man.
Yeah.
I don't see MJ
12 rounds?
Yeah, I think MJ is going to get in there, and then that's when he's going to realize he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, that might come
Because he looks so susceptible to counter shots, which he is. But you have to understand his offense isn't a wild offense. It's very calculated. And I had to watch a few fights on him. And once I watched a few fights, I'm like, damn, that's why he's in the conversation. Because not only is he exciting to watch, but his offense is just so good. And he sets you up. He'll do something in the first round, setting you up for something in the 4th. And he has a very high motor. We didn't kind of touch on that either. Like his motor is, and so he's gonna push MJ out of his realm of comfort. You're gonna have to throw more punches because you're gonna have to keep him off of it. And while MJ, it could be argued MJ might have the power edge because that's what a lot of people are saying.
I don't really see it, though.
Right, but I don't really see it. I think he has very good counters to where if he catches you, he can hit you with a left hook that can sleep you. But as far as like overall power, I still look at that Inoue 1-2, and I'm like, I don't see nobody standing up to that 5 or 6 rounds. And MJ's defense is lacking. This is gonna be a fight where people are gonna get hit a lot.
Well, here's the thing. But the thing is,
Entertainment.
Naoya Inoue,
Unfortunately.
Naoya Inoue was a 118-pounder for some years, and MJ he's a natural 122-pound guy, and that's why they give him the edge on the strength and the power. So he's been at 122. And then the other thing you got to think about Naoya Inoue is he going to get in his head. He's been taking left hooks and getting dropped. You know what I'm saying? Louis Neary, Cardenas, he's been getting dropped by these left hooks. So is he going to be a little less aggressive? He's going to be a little extra conscious because against MJ? And so you got to think about that part, too.
I mean, he got a level of confidence with him, too. Like, you don't get the nickname the Monster and you're not confident. He's confident in what he can do in the ring. And again, like overall, I'm not going to, here at Spectator Sporting, I don't sell y'all wolf tickets. I don't give a damn about this fight. And the reason why I don't care about this fight.
Okay, we do care.
No, and it's just the reason why I don't care about this fight is because of the era that we're currently in. We're building up to see a guy jump 3 weight classes for greatness. And so as great as Inoue is, I'm very disheartened that he doesn't want to push himself towards 135. But I understand, like he's big on weight classes for a reason. And I'm glad that he's finally fighting this fight after 2 years ducking. But it's like, man, like Adi said at the beginning, I want to see these caliber fighters fight the best fights. I want Carl J. Martin to be, next up for you in a way. Like, I don't want to see you against lesser competition. I want to see you against high-level fights. And so this is kind of a step in that direction, but I don't see this as a fight where people say, oh, this is the hardest fight. I don't see this as a hard fight for Inoue. I think this is easy work for him. I want to see him against a slick Carl J. Martin. I dropped that name. Look that boy up. 20 knockouts, 26-0. I want to see him against those slick, powerful fighters, that will force Inoue out of his comfort zone, because I think MJ is an opponent that fits right into his comfort zone. Like, I can be super aggressive. He's kind of flat-footed, and I can do whatever I want offensively. And if he wants to make it a fight, he's going to make a fight. If he want to sit off and box him, he's going to do that as well. So, it's not that, don't care. Every fight we don't care about. You don't care about every single fight. But this fight, on paper, is going to be a very exciting fight. And for you casuals who don't like to see elite boxing, who don't like to see calculated offense, this is a fight for you, because you're going to see punches and bunches. Somebody going to get clipped. I'm not even going to say that Inoue might not get knocked down. He might get knocked down. But I think he gets up and finishes this guy.
I love it. I love it. So, Harv, just to be clear, you got a 6-round knockout, right?
I can see it happening.
6-round knockout for Inoue.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Adi, only one that picked MJ in unanimous decision.
Even though he's in Japan.
Even though he's in Japan.
But he need to get that knockdown.
And Byron's 7th-round knockout for
Yeah.
Inoue. Listen, Adi, you brought up, and Byron, y'all been schooling me on this ducking thing, and I do not like when fighters duck. No. And then when you finally step in the ring, this is why I'm picking MJ with a 7th-round knockout, because you just, in a way, he's like you say, he's got the power, but he's been knocked down a few times before. And even though he's 30-0 with 27 knockouts, eventually one of those knockouts, knockdowns will be knockouts. And I think this is the fight where MJ gets the upset in the 7th round with a 7th-round knockout.
It can happen. It can happen.
Man.
I took it there.
Oh, man. You want to bet?
We could bet a drink. I'm with it. We could bet a drink. But, man, y'all been watching Spectator Sporting, man. Shout out to Harv. Appreciate you coming by. Shout out to Byron. Appreciate you. Adi Wally. I'm Zach Roach. In the meantime, in between time, make sure y'all go on Spectator Sporting YouTube page. Subscribe, like, comment, run them numbers up on TikTok, Instagram. Also, if you're in your car, go ahead and play this in your ride while you're listening to Spotify. In the meantime, in between time, we out. Peace.